Hey everybody, Heather here. I decided to do another Academy Award winning video because it's been a while since we've been together and there's just a lot going on again, as usual. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, first of all. I hope you had a really fun, relaxing time. I had a very relaxing time. I had a good Thanksgiving with some friends, and it was just a relaxing weekend. I got some Christmas shopping done. I got my Christmas decorations up, so I'm good to go. So that was cool. Um, so I'm totally in the Christmas season right now. So I'm going to try to hit on, I have lots of notes here, and there's 8 billion other things going on. But anyway, these are just some of the highlights that I've hit. And so we're going to try to fly through these. And then there's some information at the end too of a conference coming up that you guys may want to go to. So stick with me till the end, please, because you may want to know. And also, in the email that I sent with the link to this video, I included the links to all of the stuff that I'm going to talk about and the information to the Revolution Conference, and Cindy Snyder's info if you want to talk to her about it. So stick with me till the end, and then the other links are in the email. So first of all, let me start with something good here. So, President Trump did a Thanksgiving speech. I didn't listen to it, but I did read that he mentioned thanking God and Thanksgiving and Jesus and all that kind of stuff a lot during his speech. But I did listen to his Christmas lighting speech, which was just wonderful once again to have a president stand up there and say Merry Christmas. It was fabulous. I keep looking at the wrong end of my phone for the camera. It was so nice. And so I actually put the link to the Christmas speech in there if you want to listen to it. It's not very long. In between is a guy speaking, which I fast forwarded through because I didn't really want to hear him. But anyway, so those are just, it's just so nice to have a president that will say that kind of stuff. Say the truth, actually. So moving on, the tax reform bill just passed. To be honest with you, I know that there's some good and some bad in it. I'm not super familiar with all of it. I have just been praying that some sort of tax reform goes through because the middle class needs we need some help here. And, and that just, whatever needs to be done, I just trust God that things are going to get done. So that passed. You guys may have more info on it than I do. Sexual harassment is, of course, all over the place. Matt Lauer was the most recent one to come out. So we've got Matt Lauer and Senator Conyers, who has been in office since 1968, I think. He's 80-something years old. Some of these people need to go. I mean, they really do. They have been in there for an eternity, and that's not how the founders intended for our government to operate at all. So the good news is a lot of these guys are not running again for re-election, but then we got to fill them with good candidates as well, good people. So anyway, Conyers, we still got the Judge Roy Moore thing going on. Joe Barton from Texas isn't running again, and then you got the Al Franken and the Matt Lauer. I mean, I put a link to an article of just a list of people, huge people, that sexual harassment charges have come out. But on this, I mean, just keep praying for truth to come out, truth to be revealed. That's what I stick with. I can't say if someone is guilty or not guilty. I just say truth be revealed and let the facts come out as they truly are. Not made up facts, not people wanting to pull somebody under, but truth. Let truth prevail. Let's see. Tax reform. We got stuff going on with North Korea as usual. I put a link in here. This is just absolutely awful. An Anglican minister called for prayer that little Prince George, the 3-year-old prince of, Prince William and Kate, whatever her name is, that the little Prince George, that he would be gay. An Anglican minister is calling for prayer that he would be gay. So that, the Anglican Church Church of England, whatever it is, can change all of its rules and stipulations as to what they believe is the right thing and who can be a prince and who can be a king and all that. That is horrible. But that's the spirit that we're up against. I mean, that's a spirit. And so I'm bringing these things to y'all's attention just to keep it in prayer. If it's on your heart, pray. Pray for Prince George, that he won't go that direction, that he will have, excuse me, that he'll have people in his life that will not direct him in that path, that his parents won't even direct him, in that path, that they will help him and know, the godly way to go. And pray for the Anglican minister. I mean, that was in the New York Times, so that's not in some little rinky-dink publication. So that. Then the next one is we have there was a Muslim meeting in Springfield, Virginia, and it was, the Muslims were critical of infidels, which are us, Americans, Jews, anybody that doesn't believe in the Muslim religion, and even Muslim groups, because they didn't believe, the particular Muslim groups don't believe in violence against infidels, who they consider infidels, and so they're even against them. So anyway, there was a big conference that happened last week. I think it might have been last week in Springfield, and so that's just another thing. It's kind of, it feels like it's been kind of quiet with regard to Muslims right now, but we need to keep, if that's on your heart, be praying for salvation, be praying for truth, but also just be praying that those, like we always do, like the lines of communication and the plans of the enemy are just thwarted. Just the plans are thwarted. Things fall apart. They can't get themselves together to plan anything, to do anything, to bring jihad, because that's what they were talking about, was jihad against the infidels. So, and this is happening right here in America. So keep that in prayer as well. I put an article in there regarding Rand Paul. His wife said that he's in a lot of pain. He's gone back to work, but he's in a lot of pain. He has several broken ribs, and so just pray for his healing, because I've heard that broken ribs are extremely painful. So pray for his continued healing, that he heals quickly, and also for truth to come out in that situation, because they hadn't even talked to that neighbor in like 10 years. So it's really not what I've read in the media. It's really not what it appears to be, because his wife said, really this was out of the blue. An out of the blue situation. So continue to pray for Rand Paul. Another article I put in here, and this is awful as well. ISIS calls for the assassination of Barron Trump. I mean, that's horrid. So just be praying over Barron and his family. I mean, the whole Trump family, as we have been, but particularly when you have ISIS call for his assassination, I hope that those words never even got to his ears, but we need to continue to pray for him, and that just that he feels the protection of God, that the things that he hears just fall off of his ears. Like how like we say that Trump has a steel backbone, and he does, almost like Barron's got steel ears, just like the things that he doesn't need to hear just kind of go off of him. And that he receives what he does need to hear, and what will be beneficial to him. So that I put that article in there as well. And then, okay, then a couple other things. Lance Wallnau has a couple of new videos up where he does Lance Wallnau news, and he doesn't do them like all the time. So it's not like you can get him on you can say every Monday he does this. But he's done two recently. The first one was on November 21st, which was right before Thanksgiving. And I really urge you guys to listen to it. Well, both of the videos. But I really urge you to listen to them, because they're incredibly informative. And so this one on the 21st, we've got a lot of things, even though things look crazy, we've got a lot of things to be grateful for, because it's almost like, even with the sexual harassment stuff, there is a moral baseline that's returning to America. And I just saw on Fox News tonight, the Greg Gutfeld show, which I don't really like, but I was watching it. Vox Media, Vox Media has decided, in light of the sexual harassment stuff, they're having no alcohol at their company Christmas party, which is a huge deal. So they were actually discussing it among themselves on the Greg Gutfeld show, and one of the ladies on there said, it's amazing that there is morality that's coming back. She said, if you had asked me this 2 years ago, I wouldn't have thought so. But she said there is a moral compass that's resurging. And so I think that we have that to be very grateful for, in the midst of everything that's going on. But one of the things that he said with regard to sexual harassment and the ethics committees and stuff, the Democratic Ethics Committee, from 2007 to 2016 has had 613 allegations investigated, and then only 75 got to the preliminary stage of being taken seriously, and then of those 75, 0 resulted in convictions, in decisions and convictions. And so basically what it's saying is they don't do anything with these. They call for an ethics investigation, and then nothing ever happens. So, this is one of the things that, things need to get cleared out. These are things that are being exposed, and they need to be exposed, and we need to continue to pray with regard to that. And then the other thing that just happened while he was doing this video on the 21st, the conference was happening. So I think must have happened. No, I think it happened the 17th, 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. But anyway, George Soros, there was a Trump resistance conference where George Soros and Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of big-time liberal donors and liberal political people, including our Virginia governor-elect, Ralph Northam, where they got together in Carlsbad, California, to basically, how do we uproot Trump and how do we turn the tide? So I'm trying to see if there's anything else on that. No. So anyway, it was a big meeting, and they were supposed to keep it secret, but obviously not 100% people can keep it secret. So it got out, and then this I put the link in the email, but they were able to get, some of the information that came out of that. So check that out. And again, it's just something to be praying about. And then we've got a quick little note, the dossier that, came out against Trump, and then, oh gosh, the Fusion GPS and all the people that put it together. Well, John McCain, it has been found that he had full access to it. He said that he had heard about it, but actually before it was published, he had full access to it because the president of Fusion GPS put it in McCain's hands himself. So he had full access. So this thing that he's saying, he had heard about it or knew about it, he knew about it. He definitely knew about it. And he had it in his hands. So, I've never been a big fan of John McCain, but I am so, if I could make everybody in Arizona not vote for him, I would do that. So, that's just another thing that, is going on. He talks about some more stuff. This is all stuff in the first Lance video, so he'll go into it more detailed. He talks about China and Steve Bannon, and there's some really interesting things about that. And that China basically is formulating a plan to completely dominate the U.S. in 5 key areas, and they're already ahead of us in mobile tech. They're formulating 5G. They've got a big plan for a transport system from China to the Middle East. By 2025, they want to dominate the United States and the world in 10 different industries. The first ones, they're already ahead of us with Silicon Valley. They're already ahead of us in robotics and artificial intelligence. So those they're already ahead of us in. And then they also want to, they're also making their way with the transaction into Chinese currencies, conversion of oil of all oil transactions into Chinese currencies. Basically, they want to end the dollar as the global currency. That would be bad for us. That would be bad for our nation. So anyway, he goes on, and then, sorry about my hand right there. He talks about, at the end, he gives a really, really quick thing in Jeremiah 1 where God says, I've called you to, I don't have the scripture in front of me, but he says, I've called you to tear down, to dismantle. He says 4 things: tear down, dismantle, uproot, and something else. And then he says, so that you can build and you can plant. And in that, when he mentions 4 different things about tearing down, Lance was saying it takes 4 times as much effort to tear something down and uproot a current system than it does to build something new. And I think that's really important. It's really key, that it's just prayer. We've got to continue with our prayer and the dismantling of the systems. And then the second video he did, it was on November 29th. This video was so good, I can't even begin to explain everything in it, except that things that have been rolling around in me were covered in this video, because my concern has been everybody's praying for revival. And I think we've talked about this at our Monday prayer group, but we really need reformation. And this whole video is about revival and reformation. And then my other concern has been the younger generation. They love God, but they think socialism is the greatest thing ever. And they've bought into this liberal mindset and this socialistic mindset. But yet they love God, and, they worship him and serve him. And it's kind of a crazy thing. And even the ones who aren't Christians, they've just bought into this mindset. And so this whole video is about this. And I really encourage you guys to listen to it. It's only like 20 minutes long. But it's about, he starts off talking about the evil eye and how we really have to deal with the evil eye, because basically people are looking at Trump. The evil eye is when you look at something and you're trying to find something wrong. I heard someone say the other day he could cure cancer, and they would get upset with him for curing cancer. Trump could, but then he goes on and so he talks about 2% of the people, 2% of the people in the nation control the direction of the nation. And right now the media very much controls the direction, in cahoots with the liberals that are running things. But the media is so driven in doing that and controlling everything. And he was talking about how he'll draw a picture and everything on, and how the pilots and the people up at the front are the people that run the airplane and direct it. And you could have 400 people on the plane having revival, but if the people in the cockpit aren't having revival, they're still directing the nation. They're directing that plane in a particular direction, which is the one that they choose to direct it in. And that's what's happening. And that's why Reformation is so important, because revival brings a move of God, but Reformation brings an occupancy of God. And he wants us to occupy the 7 mountains. And until those 7 mountains are really occupied and influenced in particular ways, the leaders of those mountains are still going to direct the mountains in the way that they want them to go. And so one of the things is 60% of young people already approve of socialism. 60%, which is so crazy. But this is what we have to do. We can pray, yay, we have an election in 2018. My concern has been we have all these older people going out, and what are we going to do? There's a huge movement among the young people, and many of them have socialistic bents. In fact, Virginia just voted in the first Democratic socialist. So we now have, he was a Bernie Sanders candidate. In fact, the precinct that I was working at, he was the opposing candidate for the guy I was representing and handed out information for. So he won. And so now not only do we have a transgender in, we also have a democratic socialist in. So, this is the thing. The Democrats are coordinating, I should say the liberals are coordinating, a big movement to take over these offices. And we just need godly people. I don't care if, which party they belong to, but it needs to be godly. And so, and people that have an understanding, not just godly, but people that have an understanding of our Constitution and what our nation stands for. And so we really need to be praying for an uprising of those types of people to come in and to build and to plant. So watch that video, especially the November 29th. It's very informative. It's very good, and it's just a matter of continuing to pray. Then when that video ended, another one automatically started, and it was a Kim Clement prophecy. And I haven't heard this one. You guys may have, but I haven't. And so I included the link in there with that because it was just interesting with what, I don't even know when he did it. Probably it looks kind of late 90s-ish, but I don't know. But anyway, it's very interesting as it goes along with things that, sorry, my shoulder's hurting, that's going on right now. And then I included 2 Lana Vawser prophecies, which kind of are maybe more personal for you guys, but anyway, they were both really good. They're kind of long, but they're good. So I got through this really fast. The last thing that I was going to tell you about is this conference. Cindy Snyder, who has started coming to our prayer group, she helps John and Jolene Hamill's group called Lamplighters. They have a ministry called Lamplighters, and I think they're local here, somewhere near. But they are having a conference called the Revolution Conference, and it's going to be at the Museum of the Bible, and it's December 14th to 16th. So it's a Thursday night to Saturday, and the speakers, there's going to be Dutch Sheets, Cindy Jacobs, Jamie Fitt, Abby Abedness, and then obviously John and Jolene, and then also Fazil Malik. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he wrote a book called The Political Spirit, which is excellent. It is excellent. And so he's also going to be speaking. So it starts Thursday night, the 14th, and then it goes all day Friday and all day Saturday. The cost is only $35. But you have to register by December 11th. They won't let anyone in after that. No more registrations, and you can't just walk in. So, I put all of that in the email as well, and then Cindy's info if you want to meet up with her or anything. I don't know if I can go to this. I may go on Friday. I can't go on Saturday. Saturday's my birthday, actually. And I'm going to the Kennedy Center. But I may be going on Friday. I'm just not sure, but I'll have to decide before the 11th. That's for sure. I would love to hear some of these people, because they would be excellent. So it's basically a conference for intercessors and, just kind of like what's going on and praying for the nation and, hearing from the different speakers. So if you're interested in that, then the information is in the email. And then, what I also decided is our last meeting is December 11th. And then, in the beginning of the new year, I want to do a lunch. I don't know if it'll be Sunday after church maybe or some other time. I want to do a lunch. And then I also, just to kind of regroup and chat. And then I thought it would be kind of cool if anybody wants to go to the Museum of the Bible on, a Saturday or something like that. Then we can take a trip together down there and do that. So that's in the works for the new year. I thought about trying to do a dinner before, but it just gets so busy because I'm leaving on December 19th, and this month just gets super busy for me, just with different things. So I figure we'll put it off till the new year when we all come back, and some people are already gone too. So I think that's it. Oh my goodness, this video is 24 minutes long. This is going to take a while to render, so I better get started. Anyway, that's it. So pray, pray, pray. I know you guys are. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you. And thanks for making it all the way through to the end of this video. All right, bye.